What's going on, people? Now, originally, the topic for today's discussion was going to be my thoughts on the Xbox price hike fiasco, but in true Xbox fashion, they are the gift that keeps on giving for breaking news. Whether it's positive or negative, we got to discuss it. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got a juicy update for today. Sit back, relax, and let's discuss Xbox bringing Gears of War to PlayStation 5. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have been on this site we call YouTube for almost 17 years. I've been making videos on here for almost 2 decades, which is crazy to consider because I'm sure there's a lot of y'all watching who weren't even alive at that point, which is even more insane to consider. But at the same time, kind of cool. It's like the videos transcend time and generations. I say all this to say I am from an era where gaming was a little different than it is today. In my 17 years of making YouTube videos, I never thought I would ever utter the phrase Gears of War coming to PlayStation. But that is where we're at today, ladies and gentlemen. So how did we get here? How did we get here? Well, it started in the early hours of Monday morning with no rhyme, no reason, no fanfare whatsoever. Xbox announced that they are bringing out Gears of War Reloaded. Now, what is Gears of War Reloaded, if you're asking yourself? Well, the best way to boil it down is it's a remaster of a remaster. You know Gears of War Ultimate Edition that came out in 2015, which was a remaster of the 2006 Gears of War? Okay, they're taking that game and they're applying a 4 times multiplier on it to make it the best remaster possible. So it's going to be outputting in 4K across all systems, up to 120 FPS support. You know, they're going to go back and spruce up the textures, the lighting, things like that to make it look the best that it possibly can. And it's going to be releasing on Xbox Series consoles, Steam, Xbox PC, and for the very first time, PlayStation 5. Now, if you've been following Xbox for a while now, this might come as a surprise, but at the same time, not really. And this is going to be my first time, I guess, vocalizing my thoughts on a proper video. I mean, I've talked about it on Twitter before. I've done numerous Ask Neo streams where this has been a hot button issue. The idea of Xbox becoming a third-party publisher and what I think about it. So last year, of course, there was that big damage control tell-all confessional event where Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond's fine ass, I think Matt Booty was up there, but they were talking to this other chick and they were basically saying that, oh yeah, we know there's a lot of people who are seeing all these games that are being leaked, and it's true. We're bringing these 4 games to other platforms, those games being Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Those 4 games going to other systems. Phil Spencer said at the time, it's just these 4 games, and Xbox fans, you shouldn't expect this as a sign of things to come. Obviously, we knew that nigga was clearly lying. And listen, I got love for Phil. I know it's just a game, and these are the words you got to say at the time. I get it. We still cool. But everybody knew that was not just 4 games. Because the idea of you bringing any game to a competitor's system, no matter how you describe them as a competitor or you're not competing, all this stuff Xbox has said for the longest time, it's still an unprecedented move. And if you see success on those platforms, a lot of the bean counters are about to be like, okay, if you can see success with these niche breakout titles like Sea of Thieves, then what happens if you bring a juggernaut over? And that's what we started seeing with something like Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation. So right then and there, that is where stuff started to really kick in. Because it's one thing if it was like something from a team they acquired, like an Obsidian or Rare, you know, those studios that Xbox acquired, even though Rare they've had for 20 years, but they didn't really do shit with them. Let's be real about life. Their only claim to fame as of late, before Sea of Thieves, was just making Kinect games. But you know, and Obsidian had existed in its own identity for a while before Microsoft bought them. But it's a different thing entirely when it's a homegrown studio or something that has been synonymous with Xbox for the longest time, like a Halo, like a Gears, like a Forza, the big 3. The big 3 of that brand that built the company into what it is today. Those games going to other platforms is where it's like, oh, this shit is really happening. So Forza comes over. Forza was the premier racer for Xbox. And granted, Horizon is its own separate entity, its own beast that's different, but still, you're bringing Forza to PlayStation. Comes over, sells gangbusters. And then the next decision is to bring Gears of War with the Gears of War Reloaded. The first game coming on PlayStation. So it seems like they're going to be piecemealing out the Gears of War trilogy, which I think is the smartest thing to, keep momentum and bring people back in, especially if they're going to be doing heavy remaster work for 2 and 3. It's going to be awesome. I mean, the Gears games still look amazing as is to this day, but it's going to be even better knowing that, okay, if we're bringing it to other systems, we want this to be the first impression that lasts, that makes an impact on people. Like, yeah, see that shit that you've been talking shit about for 20 years? Nah, bro. Gears of War Reloaded come to PlayStation. And not only that, Xbox is actually being really cool with it in the sense that it's going to have full cross-platform support and full cross-play support. So, yeah, if there's one thing that the Xbox fans can take pride in, the 20 years of y'all playing Gears of War, y'all gonna show those PlayStation owners what it's all about. But it is going to be fucking weird, though. Just the idea of Gears of War coming to PlayStation and playing with these. Like, I don't know. I love PlayStation's layout, but something like this for Gears of War is just strange to me. But even weirder, that's just... I shiver thinking about. Using a DualSense to rev up a Lancer, feeling that haptic feedback, and then when you time a perfect reload, you hear Marcus Phoenix yell, "Nice!" Having that come out of the DualSense is going to feel so fucking disgusting, bro. But at the same time, this is gaming. This is modern gaming. It's crazy. It's noisy, it's bizarre, but it's fascinating. I know a lot of people are going to feel some type of way about it, like this is killing the Xbox brand. A lot of people are rejoicing that this is the best thing that has ever happened. I'm at that stage now when it comes to Xbox where I'm tired, bro. I need this company to make up their mind on what they're going to do. Because if you've been following Xbox from the start of this generation to now, they have pivoted multiple times into doing different shit. It started out going one way, very traditional, buying up studios, investing in gaming, really focusing on building up the Xbox brand as a whole, to after they bought ABK, the powers that be at Microsoft, Satya Nadella, he said, listen, we want to see some money. We want to see some money. And what better way to see quick influx of cash than putting out your games on PlayStation? Whatever we thought could have happened if Xbox had just let these studios cook for a few years. I mean, we're seeing it right now with how the big games are coming out and Game Pass is really thriving in terms of being a great value. Whatever we thought could have happened in this perfect hypothetical scenario where Xbox competes in the traditional sense, we're not going to get that anymore. And I stopped thinking about what could have been years ago, because it's clear that this company is going in a different direction for better or for worse. Now, does that make me apathetic to the brand as a whole? Not necessarily, because I'm already invested for this generation, as you guys can see. I have my Series X. I still play my Series X to this day. I'm going through Expedition 33. I'm absolutely loving it. And then after that, I'm diving back into Oblivion Remastered. I still got a lot of love for the Xbox brand and what they're doing. I think Game Pass is phenomenal, and it's only going to get better as we enter the back half of this generation. Crazy to think about we're in the latter half. It's wow. Time as a construct is insane. It's something where I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to raise my pitchforks and sell my Xbox over it. It is what it is. They're putting out their game on other systems. They're becoming a third-party publisher. Now, does that diminish and devalue the Xbox brand? Maybe. Maybe it does. Maybe there is a contingency of people who bought an Xbox console for exclusives who, with the next generation of systems, they're not going to invest in Xbox anymore, because if they can get all their games on PlayStation plus the PlayStation library of games first party, in addition to a lot of the games from Japanese studios that just don't hit Xbox, because there are a lot of them, a lot of niche titles, they're probably going to skip the next Xbox. They're just going to say, you know what, I'm content with buying these games a la carte when they come out on PlayStation, or in this case, the Nintendo Switch, which in a lot of cases gets a lot more of these exclusive Japanese games or exclusive niche or indie titles than even PlayStation does. So the only person that I think is truly hurt in this scenario is someone who solely bought an Xbox for the exclusive experiences. Because now your only reasoning is you better love that ecosystem and its features, which it is admittedly awesome, or you got to be a big fan of Game Pass. But if you don't already have one of these other devices that can play Xbox games in some capacity, or you can subscribe to Game Pass, I can see a lot of people being like, why would I even want to own an Xbox console? So to me, it seems like going forward, the Xbox console as a brand to entice people. I mean, before we even get into the topic of an Xbox console now costing $600 plus, $730 for that 2 terabyte. Before we even get into that, this Xbox console and its perceived value for people, it could be diminished to the point where only the niche hardcore Xbox fandom are going to be the ones supporting it. So what does next generation look like? Does it look like an Xbox fan base that went from 30 million to now a hardcore 10 to 15? Maybe. Maybe that's what it looks like. Maybe Microsoft is content with that. Maybe they're content with just the reoccurring software revenue splits that they get on all the other systems with more exposure and more people. And then the Xbox console is kind of just going to be the cherry on top for them to satisfy their hardcore and to maintain that they do have a space in the console arena. Because for a company like Microsoft, a company that, I mean, let's be real. They've been making the Xbox consoles for 25 years now. But the console hasn't done what the company has wanted to do. Like, let's just be real. Like, they spend a lot of money, R&D for the first console. Xbox 360 comes out. It's kicking ass. But at the same time, R-Rod, huge money that was sunk into fixing that system. Of course, there was the Xbox One debacle. And then the Xbox Series consoles, which I think are genuinely great and phenomenal. But a lot of the masses are just not adopting that. Whether they are still jilted from the Xbox One reveal or they just don't care enough to buy another system that doesn't have the games that they want to play, it is what it is at this point. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate on what Microsoft is going to do down the road. Is this going to affect people long term in terms of losing their digital library? We just don't know. We're going to have to cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'm not going to stop people from not investing in an ecosystem if they feel like the company that has abandoned things like Skype and Zoom and all these other things, if that eventually could happen to the console manufacturer. Because you can't take any of these companies on their word, right? It was only 4 games until it wasn't. So yeah, we can put out another next-gen console and it's going to be the most powerful thing out there, but are you going to get something after that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't have all the answers for these things, you guys. All I could do is just focus on the here, now, and the present and what they are giving us. And what they are giving us is stuff we never thought possible. Like, dude, just 17 years ago when I was making videos talking about getting an Xbox 360, Gears of War 2 was one of the first games that I played. Bro, this was an era when my mom didn't allow me to play mature rated video games. I would have to sneak the games into my house and I would have to Photoshop teen ratings on the game box just to play them in the comfort of my place so my mom wouldn't ask questions. Those are the lengths that I went to play such a great system like the Xbox 360 and a great lineup and a library it had. And then now it's like, those same games are coming to a whole new generation of people. And maybe the future is a little less platform exclusivity. Maybe with the exception of Nintendo, things are very agnostic. I mean, we've seen the rise of PC. We've seen the rise of handheld devices. We've seen a lot of the biggest games out there are all multi-platform. Maybe this whole exclusivity thing is kind of gone out the window and it's just, like Phil Spencer says, meeting people where they want to play these great games. Maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe they are ahead of the game. I don't know. I'm just postulating and throwing out all these ideas. But it is still crazy to consider, you guys. It is. So if you're expecting me to rant about this, saying it's the death of the Xbox brand, if you're expecting me to sit here and defend all of this, blah, 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 I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm happy that I'm going to be able to play Gears of War with more people who've just never bought an Xbox for one reason or another. And then we can all play it together with cross-play and cross-save. Like, that shit is cool to me. Especially the older I get, we don't got to worry about this stuff. Does that make me a corporate shill and an apologist for it? Maybe. Maybe it does. I don't know. Because you say you like French fries on Monday, and by Wednesday, people say they heard you hate tacos. Like, you know, it's just, it is what it is when it comes to the discourse. But regardless, you guys, I'm very interested to hear what your thoughts on this are. Are you guys going to be picking up Gears of War? Have you ever played it before? Are you excited to experience it for the first time? And how long do you guys think it'll be until we get a brand new Halo announcement? And by a brand new Halo announcement, I mean specifically Halo coming to PlayStation 5, because that'll probably be the only exciting thing coming out of Halo, just given the track record. But regardless of that, ladies and gentlemen, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.